Even when a big game is on, you don't feel what everyone else seems to feel. The room might be buzzing, someone shouting at the screen, someone pacing back and forth, and you're there, present, but untouched. You notice the tension in the air before you notice the score. You notice how serious everyone suddenly looks, how much emotional weight is placed on something that hasn't happened yet. And you feel neutral. Not bored, not superior, just strangely unmoved. You've probably been here before. Someone asks if you watched the game. You say no. They look surprised, as if you missed something important, as if you opted out of a shared emotional experience everyone else instinctively understands. And maybe at some point, you wondered why you don't feel it, why the excitement doesn't land, why the highs and lows don't hook you, why you don't care whether a team wins or loses, even when everyone around you clearly does. For many people, sports work on a very specific psychological level, not because of the game itself, but because of uncertainty. Not knowing what will happen, not knowing who will win, not knowing if hope will be rewarded or crushed. Psychologists have noticed something interesting about the brain. Dopamine doesn't peak when we get what we want. It peaks when we might, when the outcome is still unresolved. That's why people lean forward in the final minutes, why their heart rate changes, why they stay glued to the screen. The not knowing is the point. For many people, that uncertainty is intoxicating. Every play carries possibility. Every second could flip the story. Tiny waves of anticipation keep firing in the brain. And over time, the nervous system learns to crave that cycle. Hope, suspense, release, again and again. But if you don't obsess over sports, this may not work on you the same way. Because your mind already lives with uncertainty. You already spend time in open-ended questions, in ambiguity, in things without clean resolutions. So watching uncertainty play out from the outside, through scores and timers, may not feel stimulating. It may feel distant, like watching something your nervous system doesn't need. You might notice this difference in conversations. While others replay moments, argue outcomes, relive emotional highs, you find yourself observing them. How invested they are, how personal it feels, how deeply their mood is tied to something beyond their control. And instead of joining in, you step back. Not because you don't feel deeply, but because you feel deeply elsewhere. Sports also offer emotional intensity without personal exposure. You can feel joy, anger, disappointment, loyalty, without revealing your own life. For many people, that's comforting. But if you already process emotion internally, quietly, continuously, you may not need that outlet. You're already carrying enough emotional depth. This is where the misunderstanding often happens. People assume that not caring about sports means you lack passion. But often, it means your passion doesn't attach itself to borrowed outcomes. Your identity doesn't rise and fall with something you can't influence. Your nervous system isn't looking for external suspense to feel alive. For many people like you, this pattern didn't start recently. It formed early. You may have learned to watch before reacting, to read situations, to notice emotional shifts. Your attention moved inward, not because you were detached, but because awareness mattered. So while others learn to release emotion outward, you learn to hold it, understand it, sit with it. That skill doesn't disappear. It shapes what feels meaningful later. Sports culture is built around intensity, clear sides, clear winners, clear narratives. For some people, that structure feels grounding. For others, it feels loud without depth. You may care less about who wins, and more about why people care so much, what it gives them, what it replaces, what it regulates inside them. And that curiosity quietly separates you. This sensitivity is not a defect. It's a different calibration. It allows you to tolerate complexity, to stay present without constant stimulation, to find meaning in things that don't spike and crash. But it can also make you feel out of sync. In a culture that bonds through excitement, quiet presence can feel invisible. You may have learned to shrug it off, to say, "I'm just not into sports," without naming the deeper truth. That your mind isn't wired for vicarious suspense. That your emotional system prefers engagement over observation. That you don't want to borrow meaning, you want to live it. Research suggests people vary widely in how their reward systems respond. Some are activated by competition and uncertainty, others by depth, coherence, and internal resonance. Neither is better. They simply point attention in different directions. So if you've ever felt strange for not caring, for not chasing the thrill, for not understanding why it matters so much, you're not missing something fundamental. Your system just isn't designed to outsource meaning. You're not broken. You're not boring. You're not emotionally flat. You're just playing a different game, one that doesn't end with a final score. If this feels familiar, you're not alone. There are others who sit in the same rooms, hear the same cheers, and feel the same quiet distance. Not because they lack feeling, but because they're oriented inward, toward depth, toward understanding, toward meaning that doesn't need suspense to exist. You don't have to resolve that tonight. You can simply let it be recognized. And if you feel like sharing, you can leave a quiet thought below. Not an explanation, just something this brought up for you. Some things don't need fixing. They just need to be seen.